G'day and welcome to chapter 30 of my RX323 Resto videos. In this chapter, I start playing around and look at those fans working, play around with all the electrics of the car. I also start on the exhaust system. We pull off the inlet manifold, pull off the exhaust, and try to start fabbing up an exhaust system. So, I hope you enjoy it. Ooh, the water looks like it's hot, but it's not. I'll show you why. So at the end of the last video, you might have seen my thermofans weren't working, so I needed to look into that. I found a few things that I'd done wrong. One, again, I'd stuffed up the wiring. A lot of ECUs these days, they trigger the fans to run, especially in this car. So it triggers a relay, which in turn triggers the fans to run. The way I had it wired up is I had it wired up with, I was thinking power was coming out of the ECU, but it wasn't. It's actually an earth. So I had the relay wired up wrong, had it back to front. So I sorted that out and I ran power to one side of the relay and the other side has been earthed by the ECU. So I fixed up the relays. I pulled the cover off the bottom here and just rewired it so there's power going into the other side of the relay and the earth is the feed coming back from the ECU. In an attempt to get the temperature up quickly, I had the engine running, as you might have seen in the last video, for a little while, then before the neighbours came over. So what I did, I just pulled out the cool temp sensor. It just sits down in the back just here. I've got a little bung in there to stop the cool coming out. So I've just pulled it out and I've just got the heat gun and I just ran that up. But then I realised I didn't need to do that. A simple thing to do with the Microtech ECU is just connect it, and so we've got the water temps here, 27 degrees. And if I go up to functions, auxiliary outputs, up here is all the auxiliary outputs I have, and over here, so I've got RPM, map on, and then fan. And you can currently see the fan is set to come on at 26 degrees, which isn't right. So if I just go to program that, so that should be set at 85 degrees, I think it is. But now it's on 31. If I just go down, remember the water temperature is 27. So if I just go down 28, 27, see 26 degrees, a little asterisk there pops up. So that means now that earth is activated in the ECU, so then it should turn on that relay to then run the fans. So an easy way to test this is I've rigged up this little test light. I've got one side to power coming out of the ECU, and the other side to the negative output of the ECU as well for the fans. So if I just adjust that temperature again in the ECU, so if I go down to 28, 27 degrees, 26 degrees, there we go, the earth's activated. Back up to 27 degrees, 28 degrees, 29 degrees, 30 degrees, the light goes out again. So that is my trigger for my fans. So now, if I go back up to functions, auxiliary outputs, tab across to the fan program, drop it down to 26 degrees. There's the fans. So all in all, that's a good result. A few stuff ups on my behalf. I learned a lot, and hopefully you learn something from this as well. So next thing I need to move on to is the exhaust. I'm onto the exhaust now. So I've just taken off the inlet manifold. Pretty straightforward, easy job. Fuel line here, fuel line there, all the injector plugs, 6 bolts and a few nuts, and as you see, it comes out pretty straightforward, nice and easy. With the inlet manifold off, I thought I'd take an opportunity just to have a look inside. So you can see there, this is the primary side. You can see the bridge just in there through the inlet bolts, and the secondary side there of the RX8 plates. So this is the inlet manifold, as you can see. I've got the 4 injectors, so for the primary side, the secondary side, and also the secondary injectors with the fuel rail going to this fuel rail and the inlet manifold. You can see it's a hybrid type manifold, so this top part here has been fabricated to accept this injector hat. So it's been pretty well done. So the objective of this is I'll take off the old manifold. So as you can see here, this is where I've just welded. So it's got the RX side plates, the normal RX4 rotor housings. So I've got the 4 ports here. There was 4 pipes coming out of this engine, but as you can see, the gap down here is really, really small, so it's really hard to get them past. But I'll take all the old exhaust on that off now and see what we can do to fab up an exhaust. So the manifold's off now. You can see there the 4 ports, so the RX4 rotor housings and the RX8 end plates, and the exhaust manifold. See, that's where it was dumping out, making all that noise, and as Bryan Adams would say, was waking up the neighbours. Alright, so the plan is to make up a jig for the exhaust manifold. So the first thing I need to do is make up a template. So here's the template I've made up, just out of cardboard. So I'll transfer this now onto a bit of steel. So this is just a cheap bit of C-beam steel, quite thick and solid. I've just chopped it in half. I've just got it mounted in the vise. So I'm going to join these two together, and then I'll trace out the template here, just carefully marking it all out. There's one thing about the measurements on between all the bolts and that, they're all quite standard. Like it's 135mm, so it's quite easy to measure. If you just measure from one side of the thing to the other, and then minus a 10mm for the thickness of the bolts, that gives you your exact point between the bolts. So I'll go around to the old man's house now and use his drill press and start drilling some holes. So here it is now. I've drilled all the holes, marked them out carefully and measured them out carefully using all the verniers, making sure I got the distance here right to here right, making sure it's all square that way and that way. So now I can put the manifold on there just to show you how it fits. So these are the manifolds of the car. I'll just put in 2 bolts for starters, just so it all lines, to make sure it all lines up. Let's just hope that it all does line up. Alright, so there you have it. This is going to be the jig. So the plan is just to have, I've got the plates here, I'll leave them on there. I'll cut these old ones off and then we'll make new manifold. So it's going to be 1.5 into a collector for 2.5, then 2.5 all the way out, so I'll have 2 pipes going out. That's the plan. Let's see how it goes. Alright, that's it for this chapter. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and also don't forget to check out my Instagram account, Pasco's_garage. I'll be posting regular photos of updates of where I'm at, rather than waiting for a month for a video to come out. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in chapter 31. Bye for now.